Good morning everyone. Let's continue with the and F block elements, and today is our lecture 28. So as I said during last class that two important oxides we have to study in D block elements. One we have already completed, that was potassium dichromate, and today we are going to start with potassium permanganate, KMnO4. Okay, now first of all, preparation of potassium permanganate. First is from pyrolusite ore. Okay, pyrolusite is manganese dioxide. It's a black colored solid. So when manganese dioxide, this pyrolusite ore, is fused with an alkali, first of all it gives green mass of potassium manganate. Okay, this is green colored, and let's balance it. Now hydrogen 4, 8 plus 2 10, oxygen 4 plus 2 6 plus 4. So first of all, manganese dioxide is fused with KOH in presence of oxygen to get potassium manganate, and this manganate is MnO4 2 minus, and permanganate is MnO4 minus. So this manganate, when it is acidified, then we get MnO4 minus plus MnO2 plus H2O. Okay, four hydrogen. Now 3 manganese is there, so 12 oxygen. So 4 2 ja 8 plus 2 10 plus 2 12. Reaction is balanced. This is one of the methods of preparation of potassium permanganate. In fact, this is the most important preparation by which it can be manufactured commercially. Next is that when this manganate ion undergoes electrolytic reduction, and then also MnO4 minus, that is permanganate ion, is obtained. Next is the lab preparation. In laboratory, potassium permanganate is prepared when manganese plus 2 is passed through peroxodisulfate ion, H2S2O8. That acid is peroxodisulfuric acid, and after replacing 2H plus we get peroxodisulfate ion, and in presence of water we get permanganate ion plus SO4 2 minus, and the medium is acidic. So let's balance the equation. Okay, and the charge should also be balanced. Okay, reaction is balanced, charge also is balanced. So these three are the important methods of preparation of potassium permanganate. And potassium permanganate, you have seen in solid form, it's a violet colored crystalline solid. It is insoluble in cold water but soluble in hot water. And upon heating, what happens, that it is oxygen rich salt, so it gives oxygen along with potassium manganate. So let's see the action of heat. Upon heating potassium permanganate, it gives potassium manganate plus manganese dioxide plus oxygen. Okay, and it acts as an oxidizing agent in acidic basic as well as neutral medium. Let's see first of all in acidic medium. Very important reaction, my dear students. As I told you, oxidizing behavior of KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7. So far as potassium dichromate is concerned, it acts as an oxidizing agent in acidic medium. But the important point is that potassium permanganate, it acts as an oxidizing agent in acidic, alkaline as well as neutral medium. So in acidic medium, when it reacts with sulfuric acid, it gives K2SO4, MnSO4, H2O plus nascent oxygen. Okay, let's balance the equation. And now you can see manganese, it is +7 here, because 2 into +1 plus x plus -8 equals to 0, and +7 to +2, because sulfate is -2, so manganese becomes +2. +7 to +2 reduction, therefore it acts as an oxidizing agent. That too strongest oxidizing agent, because manganese is in its highest oxidation state. And if this molecular equation is to be written in ionic form, then MnO4 minus acidic medium, gain of electron, Mn2 plus H2O. Okay, so here you can see 4 oxygen, so I'll make it here 4. Now hydrogen becomes 8. Now +7 to +2, so gain of 5 electron, so therefore here 5 electron. In terms of Faraday, how many Faraday will be required? 5 Faraday. 5 into 96500 coulombs. So while writing the balanced equation in terms of oxidizing behavior, for molecular equation this is going to be the basic equation, and for ionic equation this is going to be the basic equation. Let's see the example as we have seen during potassium dichromate also. Ferrous to ferric. There 6 electron was there, but here 5 electron. In that case we had multiplied with 6, but here we need 5, because ferrous to ferric, loss of 1 electron. Then the electron gets cancelled, and the overall equation will be MnO4 minus plus 5 Fe2 plus 8H plus Mn2 plus 8H2O plus 5 Fe3 plus. So you can see that during these equations, electron must be cancelled, and in overall equation, atoms as well as the charges, they both should be balanced. Just see the example. Now 5 2s are 10 plus 8. So 18 positive charge, but 1 minus is there. So 18 minus 1, now it becomes 17. Now here you see 5 3s are 15 plus 2 plus 17 plus. So on both the side, charges are balanced as well as atoms are balanced. Okay, now let's see some more examples. Okay, now oxalate ion, okay, COO, CO minus, and instead of this is the oxalate ion coming from oxalic acid, you can directly write it as C2O4 2 minus, okay, then CO2. Since here 2 carbons, so we write it here 2. Now you can see that oxygen and carbon are balanced. Now here oxidation state is +3, here +4. So for 1 mole of carbon, loss of 1 electron. So for 2 moles, it would be 2 electron. Now here 5 electron is there, here 2 is there. So we multiply with this 5 and this one with 2. So that on either side 10 electrons are there. Now the electron gets cancelled, and the equation will be 2 MnO4 minus plus 5 C2O4 2 minus 16H plus 10 CO2, 5 into 2, 10 CO2 plus 2 Mn2 plus 4 into 2, 8H2O. So basic equation will be this only. permanganate ion in acidic medium. Second equation, stannous, stannic, nitrite, nitrate, sulfide, sulfate, oxalate, carbon dioxide, iodide, iodine, and so on. So first of all, you have to write this basic equation and second part, and then depending upon the electron, these equations are to be multiplied and so on. So as I said, that it acts as an oxidizing agent in acidic, neutral and alkaline medium. So my dear students, you see here +7 to +6, permanganate ion to manganate ion, electrode potential 0.56 volt. Here +7 to +4, therefore gain of 3 electron. Here difference is of only 1 electron. Electrode potential 1.69 volt. Now +7, the reaction in acidic medium which we have discussed just now, +7 to +2, therefore gain of 5 electron. So therefore in acidic, alkaline, neutral, all the three medium, it acts as an oxidizing agent. And it's so very easy and simple. As I said, that you write the basic equation first and then I minus to I2, SN2 plus to SN4 plus, H2S to sulfur, oxalate to carbon dioxide, ferrous to ferric, and then add both the partial equations to get the final balanced redox equation. Okay. Now the structure of permanganate ion and manganate, MnO4 2-. So both these ions, they are tetrahedral in shape. Let's see their structure. And manganese, as you all know, that the valence electron is 7. Okay. So double covalent bond with oxygen, double with this oxygen, 2 plus 2, 4. And here also double. Then this oxygen is having single bond and it will have a minus charge. Now this is MnO4 minus. If MnO4 2- is to be drawn, then both these oxygen carries negative charge because they have single covalent bond. Okay. So structure of manganate and permanganate ion, just like chromate and dichromate, here manganate and permanganate, very very important. Then what are the uses of potassium permanganate? So it is used in analytical chemistry, that is salt analysis, qualitative analysis. Then it acts as a bleaching agent for bleaching wool, silk, textile fibers and so on. Apart from that, in volumetric titrations, which is known as permanganometric titrations. And in permanganometric titrations, it acts as an oxidizing agent, it acts as a self-indicator, and it acts as a secondary standard as well. And why it cannot be a primary standard? Because it is hygroscopic in nature. Okay, HYGRO. Hygroscopic means which absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. So oxidizing behavior, that is oxidizing agent, then acts as a bleaching agent, acts as a secondary standard, then it is used in analytical chemistry. And one very very important question, that if you remember in titrations, while doing the permanganometric titrations, then hydrochloric acid is not used. Okay, and permanganometric titrations we use sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. So why hydrochloric acid is not used during permanganometric titrations? It is because in presence of HCl, just see what happens if we use hydrochloric acid. Okay. Chlorine from -1 to 0, it gets oxidized. And in case of sulfuric acid, just now you have seen what happens when we use sulfuric acid, then we get just comparison, you see, K2SO4, Cr2, K2SO4 plus MnSO4 plus H2O plus nascent oxygen. Now you can see from plus 7 to plus 2, here reduction occurs. But in this case, if you are going to use HCl, HCl itself oxidizes to chlorine. And in this case, in presence of sulfuric acid, we get nascent oxygen for the further oxidation to take place. And why we do not use HNO3 during permanganometric titrations? Because HNO3 itself acts as an oxidizing agent. So this is very, very important, that why do we use sulfuric acid, or why HCl is not satisfactory, why we do not use nitric acid, and so on. Okay. So this is all about potassium permanganate, its preparation from pyrolusite or MnO2, electrolytic reduction, lab preparation in presence of peroxo disulfate ion S2O8 minus, Mn2 plus is getting oxidized to MnO4 2 minus. And then its physical properties, its color, its state, its solubility, and most importantly, its ability to act as an oxidizing agent, and that too in acidic, basic, and neutral, all the three medium. And molecular and ionic equation you practice well, that's very, very important, as I repeatedly said. So, and then structure of manganate and permanganate ion, and finally its uses. Okay, my dear students, so we have completed B block elements, and next class we are going to start with F block elements of the same chapter. Till then, goodbye. Thank you all. Thank you very much.